Hello, good morning. So today we're going to be looking at one of the programs that we have made here, and this is in reference to our algorithms. So we have different sorting here. We have bubble sorting, and you can see that we've set up different triggers, different tabs, depending on which algorithm and sorting method we are going to be using. So basically, they should in theory generate the same results and same information, but this is more of a project, understanding the process itself. Of course, this is for Dr. Nicholson, and we have here as example on the upper right corner. Let's start with some small numbers here, and we're going to start it out. You should see the first number, and we have the second number, and we have the third, the fourth, and the fifth numbers being already sorted out through the machine. And this is of course through bubble sort, and we're going to try something a little higher just to make sure they work beyond the set of numbers. So we have the first, and again we have the second, and we have the third, and we have the fourth, and of course that should be the point, the fifth one there. I'm sorry, that was a little too fast. So anyway, we should be able to see here that each tab, and you see in the upper right corner, should generate their own results, and sometimes the results should be a little too faster. Of course, that depends on what type of sorting you're doing. So we have here the bubble sort, which is the most basic ones that we have, with higher numbers set. So should work perfectly fine. Of course, we also have the greedy, the heap. About just more of the information, and let's get started. So the first, of course, is a submit as a trigger that was set to make sure that they will execute the program that we set, or the algorithm that we've set. The program's pretty basic. We just take the numbers and we have input there, and then the trigger launches the algorithm and generating the result. We're using Visual Basic, and of course to start us off we have bubble sorting. So bubble sorting, to give us some information, is basically swapping the numbers. So this is dark sorting, typically has a lot of cycles, a lot of interm, because basically what it does is it gets the first number compared to the second one, and of course swap faces, and it does that repeatedly for each cycle until it gets sorted out. So this is typically the most simplest one, but of course if you're using a low power device, typically it takes a lot longer to sort, because you can only imagine if there are longer numbers, it takes a lot longer to sort them all out. And of course, to know the number of cycles, we just simply of course substitute the number of the values. And the next that we have here is selection sort. Now selection sort is a lot more easier and a lot more faster. So as you would see here in an example, compared to just swapping the numbers for each cycle iterating, in this one, during each iteration, we'll select the smallest items from the unsorted partition and move it to the sorted partition. Basically using the blue and the red arrow as the minimum number and the current number that the system is running. So it starts of course with the first number that we have here set as a minimum, and that number is then being compared to the second number, and then the third number, the fourth, and the fifth, so until it reaches the end of the array. And as you would see there, it keeps on comparing if it's the lowest one, and of course it keeps false, and once it reaches a number wherein it has shown that it is the lowest, then it will swap places. So once that has been set, then that will be a constant number. Now we can move on to the next cycle, which is, as you are seeing, it's making things a lot more faster. Now 8 is being compared to each number there, and it is showing of which is lower, which majority of is are. But the smallest one would be 2, and that will then be swapped. Now once that is swapped, so basically that will be the new constant. What it does is it keeps comparing itself to the next and all the numbers in there and finding out if it is smaller. If it is smaller, then of course it would need to be swapped. Now there, the beauty of selection is basically it makes things a lot more easier for us, because down the road, even if you have multiple set of numbers, the process should be shorter and shorter and shorter, thus creating a much more lighter load for the system. So of course, if you're using a much more stronger high power device, this shouldn't really reflect any minor differences to bubble sorting, but it is making a lot of differences, especially if you're using a smaller or lighter um, processing system. Now, of course, now that it has sorted everything out, everything is constant, then we have the array in which all the numbers has been sorted out. Now we can move forward, of course, to the codes. So the codes that we are looking at here again, the program itself is as well in the upper right corner. Should be able to see it there, and we should see on the left side is the codes for each triggers. So again, the codes are embedded in each triggers, and you should be able to see it being executed each time the submit is being clicked. Now here's some examples. So we could start off with bubble sorting. It's the very first one. As you would notice, it has a longer code as to compare to the rest, because like I said, it's just basically tries to run the system. Now there we have the sorted, we have the examples, and we have the last numbers, of course, being the highest numbers. And then we can try the second one. Let's try to set a different set of numbers just to make sure. Of course, again, we have others as well as 3D, and we have deep, but let's focus more on the selection. Now the selection, if you check on selection, like I said earlier, the process is a lot more easier and a lot more simply down the road. So the first cycle doesn't really vary that much from the bubble, but there's a lot big difference in terms of how it goes moving forward because of how the numbers are being sorted out. So if you put in the numbers in there, you should be able to see, even if we go to a high number, I should be able to simply understand that whatever numbers minimum you set, that's not going to show it, and it should show that what is the first number, or the lowest number rather. Now of course, as the cycle progresses, it shows which number is next. So we have there the highest is the 332. Now of course, the code here, you should see there's two different codes. The code on the upper part is basically for the selection, which is a lot more shorter than bubble sorting codes, and then we have of course the one for green, which is a couple of different system. We'll go through that, and that should be it. Thank you very much. Basically, we'll link the resources that we used on the video, and if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us questions. Thank you very much. Have a good day.